Imagine 1,000 wagging tails and perked ears, 1,000 cats and dogs gathered in Central Park for the biggest game of hide-and-seek the city had ever seen. The energy was contagious, even the squirrels seemed curious. This was no ordinary day in the park. Dogs sniffed the air, eager to catch a whiff of their furry competitors. Cats, ever graceful, surveyed the scene with cool detachment. Friendships were forged, rivalries tested, and pure joy ruled supreme. It was a celebration of the special bond between humans and their pets. Nervous whimpers, playful barks, and occasional hisses blended into a unique symphony. The stage was set, the players ready, and the game was about to begin. Central Park, the emerald heart of New York City, was the perfect setting. Its sprawling lawns, winding paths, and hidden nooks provided an endless playground. The Bethesda Terrace became a central meeting point. Dogs greeted each other with enthusiastic tail wags. Cats observed from atop park benches, eyes gleaming with mischief. The ramble promised endless hiding spots for the most cunning creatures. For one glorious day, Central Park belonged to the animals. The day had finally arrived. 1,000 pairs of eyes darted around, eager to spot friends and rivals. Tails wagged furiously, knocking over picnic baskets and sending frisbees flying. Barks, meows, and excited yips created a joyful cacophony. The game was about to begin. Before the games could begin, there were important rules to explain. Volunteers, faces lit with smiles, worked tirelessly to organize the chaos. Using megaphones, they explained dogs with dogs, cats with cats. Each pet owner was given a brightly colored bandana. Once the bandana was raised, the seekers would be released. With the rules explained and bandanas distributed, it was almost time to start the game. The hiders were led away, seeking the perfect hiding spot. Cats vanished into the shadows, some climbing high into the trees. Dogs hid behind ancient oak trees and in tall grasses. With the hiders safely tucked away, the seekers took their places. The moment of truth had arrived. The countdown echoed through the park. 3. Dogs shifted from paw to paw. 2. Cats swiveled their ears, scanning for movement. 1. With a wave of the starting flag, the game was on. Dogs surged forward, noses to the ground, tails wagging furiously. Cats moved with calculated grace, some disappearing into the undergrowth. The humans cheered on their furry companions. Central Park transformed into a whirlwind of activity. Dogs weaved through trees, paws pounding on the pavement. Cats, masters of stealth, were nowhere to be seen, but their presence was felt. The game was a test of wit, speed, and the special bond between pet and owner. Each bark, meow, and triumphant tail wag brought them closer to their hidden companions. The game had its share of hilarious mishaps. A Labrador mistook a squirrel for its companion, dragging its owner along. Terriers collided head-on, sending leaves and twigs flying. Puppies got distracted by a butterfly, forgetting the game. Through it all, the atmosphere remained one of pure joy. Seekers were in their element, senses working overtime. Dogs zigzagged across the park, following scent trails with enthusiasm. Cats, masters of stealth, proved a greater challenge. Seekers, undeterred, continued their search, fueled by the joy of the game. Each bark, yelp, and rustle of leaves brought them closer to their hidden companions. There were close calls aplenty. A Springer Spaniel came within inches of uncovering a tabby cat. A Persian cat camouflaged perfectly against a sycamore tree. A clever Siamese perched on a statue, surveying the scene. Each successful hide and near miss added to the excitement. As minutes ticked by, shouts of victory rang out. A little girl held aloft a wriggling Jack Russell Terrier. Friends cheered as their golden retriever emerged triumphantly. Each reunion was a celebration of the special bond between humans and pets. The air filled with laughter, excited barks and contented purrs. The game evolved into a celebration of love, companionship and pure joy. Word spread about a cunning feline, Princess Buttercup. Her owner, Mrs. Peabody, had almost given up hope of finding her. They had been separated for almost an hour. Mrs. Peabody searched high and low, calling out her beloved cat's name. Unbeknownst to her, Princess Buttercup was perfectly safe. She had discovered a secret spot in the branches of a giant oak tree. From her perch, she watched dogs run past, tongues lolling out. They had no idea she was watching them from above. Princess Buttercup let out a soft purr of contentment. She was a master of hide and seek, and she knew it. Section 2. The Case of the Missing Pug. Meanwhile, on the other side of the park, a small snorting creature was causing quite a stir. Winston, a portly pug with a heart of gold, had vanished without a trace. His owner, a young man named David, was beside himself with worry. Winston wasn't exactly known for his speed or agility. In fact, he was far more likely to be found napping in a sunbeam than participating in a high-energy game of hide-and-seek. David searched frantically, calling out Winston's name, his voice hoarse with worry. He checked under benches, behind trees, even in the trash cans. Winston had a weakness for discarded hot dog wrappers. But Winston was gone. Just when David was about to give up hope, he heard a familiar snorting sound coming from a most unexpected place. He looked up, and there, perched precariously on top of a picnic table, sat Winston. His short legs were splayed out at odd angles, his tongue lolling out in a contented grin. He had discovered an abandoned plate of cookies, and he was in hog heaven. David couldn't help but laugh. Only Winston could turn a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek into an impromptu snack break. He scooped up his beloved pug, cookies and all, and gave him a big hug. Winston, his mission accomplished, licked David's face with gusto. He may not have been the most successful seeker, but he was definitely the happiest. The game of hide-and-seek had brought together creatures of all shapes, sizes and temperaments. But perhaps the most heartwarming story of all was the unlikely friendship that blossomed between a Great Dane named Thor and a tiny kitten named Luna. Thor, with his massive size and booming bark, could be intimidating to say the least. Luna, a delicate creature with snow-white fur and eyes like sapphires, was as timid as they came. She had been separated from her owner early on in the game and was feeling quite lost and alone. Fate, however, had other plans. As Luna cowered beneath a park bench, unsure of what to do next, she felt a gentle nudge on her back. She looked up, and there, towering above her, was Thor. His tail, as thick as a tree trunk, was wagging gently, and his eyes, usually bright and mischievous, were filled with concern. To Luna's surprise, Thor lay down next to her, his massive body shielding her from view. She snuggled into his warm fur, feeling safe and protected for the first time since the game had begun. And so, for the next hour, the unlikely pair remained hidden together, the giant dog and the tiny kitten, their friendship a testament to the power of play, to bridge even the most unexpected of divides. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, painting the Central Park skyline in hues of orange and gold, the last few pairs of hiders and seekers were reunited. The game was officially over, but the magic of the day lingered in the air, a tangible feeling of joy and contentment. It was clear that this event, this grand game of hide-and-seek, had been about far more than just finding a furry friend amidst the trees and fountains. The humans, their faces flushed with laughter and the day's exertions, exchanged stories and shared photos of their pets' hiding spots and antics. The dogs, their energy finally spent, lay panting happily at their owners' feet, enjoying the strokes and ear scratches. Even the cats seemed mellower than usual, basking in the afterglow of a day well played. There was a sense of shared accomplishment in the air. They had come together, 1,000 strangers united by their love for their pets, and created something truly special. The game had broken down barriers, sparked conversations, and forged new friendships, both human and furry. This wasn't just about winning or losing. It was about celebrating the unique bond between humans and animals. It was about the pure, unadulterated joy that pets bring into our lives. The impact of the event extended far beyond the borders of Central Park. The sight of so many dogs and cats playing together peacefully, the sound of their joyful barks and meows echoing through the city streets, had a ripple effect, touching the hearts of even the most jaded New Yorkers. People stopped on the street, their faces softening into smiles as they watched the procession of pets and their humans leaving the park. Taxi drivers honked their horns in a celebratory salute, a rare display of good cheer amidst the usual city cacophony. News of the event spread like wildfire on social media. Photos and videos of the day's adventures were shared thousands of times, accompanied by heartwarming stories and expressions of delight. The hashtag #CentralParkHideAndSeek was trending nationwide, a testament to the power of pets to bring people together. For one day, the usual hustle and bustle of city life had been replaced by a spirit of community and shared joy. The concrete jungle had been transformed into a playground of purrs and wags, reminding everyone of the simple pleasures in life. Long after the last picnic blanket had been folded and the final leash clipped, the echo of 1,000 barks and meows lingered in the heart of Central Park. The event had been a resounding success, not just for its sheer scale and ambition, but for the spirit of joy and camaraderie it had fostered. The event organizers, overwhelmed by the positive response, vowed to make it an annual tradition. They envisioned a future where Central Park, once a year, would be transformed into a haven for pets and their humans, a place where friendships could be forged and memories made that would last a lifetime. But perhaps the most lasting impact of the event was the subtle shift in perspective it created. It reminded people that even in the midst of a bustling metropolis, there was still room for wonder, for playfulness, for the simple joy of watching 1,000 furry friends chase their tails in the park. And in a world that often felt fractured and divided, that was a message worth barking about. The grand game of hide and seek in Central Park was a testament to the extraordinary bond we share with our pets. It highlighted the pure, unadulterated joy they bring into our lives. More importantly, it served as a powerful reminder of the importance of community. In a world that often feels increasingly divided, events like these are a breath of fresh air. They remind us that we have more in common than we realize. Our love for our pets transcends age, background, and even zip codes. It's a universal language that speaks to the very best in us. The sight of 1,000 cats and dogs playing together in harmony, their humans cheering them on, was a powerful testament to the power of unity. It was a reminder that even in a city as big and bustling as New York, there's a sense of community waiting to be discovered. And sometimes all it takes is a game of hide and seek to bring it to life. This event wasn't just about pets, it was about people. It was about fostering connections, building bridges, and creating a sense of belonging. It was about reminding ourselves that even in the midst of our busy lives, there's always time for a little bit of joy, a little bit of laughter, and a whole lot of love. As the last rays of sunlight faded from the sky and the stars began to twinkle above Central Park, a sense of bittersweet farewell settled over the crowd. The day had been a resounding success, a memory that would be cherished by all who had witnessed it. But like all good things, it had to come to an end. As the last of the pets and their humans made their way out of the park, the silence that descended was almost deafening. The trees, no longer echoing with barks and meows, seemed to stand a little taller, as if in quiet contemplation of the day's events. The benches, now empty of their furry occupants, seemed to radiate a residual warmth, a reminder of the joy that had unfolded upon them. But the spirit of the day lingered on. It lingered in the hearts of the people who had come together, united by their love for their pets. It lingered in the memories of 1,000 furry friends who, for one glorious day, had transformed Central Park into their own personal playground. And as the city that never sleeps drifted off into slumber, one couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation for the year to come. For the promise of another day of laughter, of wagging tails and playful meows, of 1,000 new adventures waiting to unfold amidst the trees and fountains of Central Park. Until next year, Central Park, until next year.